After the latest episode, where Meghan claimed there was this high speed, near catastrophic car chase through the streets of New York, Harry has got to realize that she has become completely out of control. She's a maniac. Nobody can believe a word she says, and the photo agency she hired to pretend to be the paparazzi on that night have now made it abundantly clear that Meghan Markle lied. And the fact is, they do not want to be involved in this scam. The news has come out that, in fact, this agency was not in on Meghan's little scheme. They sent along photographers to capture the event. They had no clue that Meghan would claim that it was this dangerous high speed car chase. And a police officer has said there was no chase and it didn't last 2 hours. I can't help but wonder what the royal family thinks of this latest insanity, which involved two members of their own family. Yes, Charles, your entire family is being humiliated and being called liars. And what are you doing? Well, you're just twiddling your thumbs while the palace is burning. But it doesn't have to be like this. The king could do something if he wanted to. Anyway, I'm sure Meghan is going to have talked with Harry about how they can get out of their biggest scam ever, explaining away the two children that nobody has ever seen. Harry is not going to be able to handle this. He's a scared little puppy dog who does whatever Meghan tells him to do. Never in his overly sheltered life, where he has never had to save money to pay for any bills, where all of his food, all his clothes, and all of his cars have been given to him, never has Harry had to consider how he could scam the public. But more importantly, Harry does not have the brains to understand how to get out of sticky situations. Ever since marrying Meghan, he has learned how to be devious, and the truth is, he's not very good at it. But Meghan is going to come up with the most ridiculous scheme to try to explain where the invisible children have disappeared to, and I'm sure Harry's going to be terrified, as he should be. All eyes are going to be focused on him. People are going to want him to come clean. And it's going to be a very difficult situation for him. He's going to need to lie, which he's not very good at. And every sentence is going to be picked apart by journalists who are wanting revenge. And Meghan's going to be off and away with the next wealthy idiot, leaving poor man-baby Harry to face the music all on his own. But at the same time, it's his fault. He has made his bed, now it's time for Harry to lie in it. Meghan's going to arrange for something to happen to those two children, and they'll never be seen again. It sounds crazy, but I really think that we're going to hear soon about some type of kidnapping or something like that. And how else can Meghan explain that there aren't any kids around when she finally leaves Harry, with her permanent rictus grin fixed firmly on her face and grabbing a bag filled with money? If anybody out there was confused about what type of person Meghan Markle is, I think this latest antic has proven once and for all what a nasty piece of work she really is. And Harry is going to be very scared, but I think he will be rescued by his family. He may even be airlifted home. I have suspected for a long time that once cornered, Meghan is going to go full scorched earth. She is one of the most evil narcissists who ever walked the earth. And I saw what she was during the engagement video, but I've got to admit, Meghan's capacity for plotting and Meghan's capacity for getting revenge on people is second to none. But I think we're going to see her little reign come to an end pretty soon because she has been cornered. She was told that she had to stay away from the coronation, and I'm sure that pissed her off to no end. And that explains the nonsense with that gold dress she had on, the fake award, and also taking the piss out of the late queen with the word service yet again. She's sending a pretty clear message to the king to watch out. She wants a lot of money because she's wanting out now. And Harry would have gone to that dumb award ceremony because he cannot disobey Meghan. Harry is going to be brought home, though, and I'm sure they're going to keep him safe, especially for Meghan and that sketchy Doria. It says a lot that these different agencies have been so quick to react to this latest lie about the 2-hour car chase. That means that Meghan is no longer in control of the narrative. Let's think back to even 2021 when Meghan's little army online had a lot of power. But now Meghan is going down, and she's going to be going down all by herself. Maybe the king isn't sharpening his knives just yet, but people around him probably are, including his oldest son, Prince William. Royal commentator Ms. Julia San has weighed in too, saying that Charles is not in a position to interfere in Harry's life. She says Hasno has to take responsibility for his own mistakes. He has chosen that woman over his birth family, and he will remain with her until she kicks him out, when he is of no further use to her. He is a gullible moron. No doubt Charles will take Harry back if Hasno begs him, but once the trust has been broken, the Brits do not forgive that easily. Besides, Harry has proved himself to be a turncoat. He will remain a pariah for most people in the UK and the royal family. And King Charles has already made his statement when it comes to the two of them. They are almost middle-aged adults, and they are free to make their own choices. They were the ones who wanted to leave the UK. So Charles doesn't really have any involvement or responsibility in this situation. His duty is to the crown and the people of the UK. So it's important that he is left out of their messes. He needs to just move on with his family and his country. Miss Julia San also said, Hasno may be nudging middle age, but he still must acknowledge that his actions have consequences for which he is liable or responsible. This has been the problem with Simp all his life. Slack parenting from Charles and Diana, coddling from other royal family members, and Buckingham Palace covering for all his past misdemeanors. Margot wouldn't have had the guts to pull this farce off on her own with only sleepy Doria for company. Harry's presence gives the whole stupid escapade royal validity in her twisted mind. Quite honestly, I think the time has come for the royal family to release everything they currently hold on her. This should be done before she has an opportunity to do anything further. We must all write to the UK Parliament en masse to demand that they remove the titles permanently, even of Prince if they're able to. These two are making a complete mockery of the UK and the monarchy, not to mention their own family. On the other hand, it takes an act of Parliament to take away their Duke and Duchess titles. Harry will always be the king's son, and so be a prince no matter who says or does what. Fact. The duplicitous duo live several thousands of miles away on a different continent, with totally different laws, so no matter what could be done or said in the UK carries no weight out of the UK. Getting into a mudslinging match is not going to solve anything. In fact, it would only make the problem worse. See, narcissists do not understand how to compromise. They can't even negotiate. The best way to deal with somebody with a cluster B personality disorder is to completely ignore them. And in fact, in most cases, it seems to be the only way to deal with them. This latest exaggeration just goes to show how unbelievable they are becoming to everybody. So you know what? Fine. Allow them to just make up a few more absurd stories and let's see what happens. It seems only a handful of very gullible Americans, I mean maybe a few from other countries too, are going to believe the lies and the contradictions forever. I think it's time to drop the speculation and give them some airspace, and they're going to fade away. In the UK and the rest of the world, at least people can choose for themselves what to believe. Harry deserves everything that comes his way. He sat there with that big grin on his face while Meghan told lies about his family, and he was in on it. He told lies too. He helped put the late queen in her grave much earlier because she was so hurt by his actions. He made Prince Philip's last days filled with anger, which I'm sure was very upsetting to the late queen too. So no, Harry is not this poor pathetic victim who didn't know what he was getting himself into. And let's remember, this is supposed to be this army major who allegedly led men into battle and made life and death decisions for them. Of course, I don't believe that, but anyway, people do, and any of those people cannot possibly claim that Harry didn't know what was going on. The fact is, you cannot have it both ways.